Hello and welcome everyone to the Fireside chat series of episode 2, Igniting the Flames of Gujarati Family Businesses.
I'll start without much further ado. A very good evening to everyone who's joined us. I am Bhavik Khera. I am the Managing Director of SE Linkages Pvt Ltd and convener of the MSME and Vendor Development Panel. With immense pleasure that I introduce you to a transformative endeavor, the Fireside Chat series. CII Gatishil Gujarat Vriddhi, Igniting the Flame of Gujarati Family Businesses initiative. The Confederation of Indian Industry, CII as it is popularly, or commonly known, is a premier industry association, has long been a beacon of knowledge, collaboration, and progress with its unwavering commitment to fostering economic growth, technological advancement, and policy advocacy. CII stands as a stalwart champion of India's business landscape. Its legacy of connecting industry leaders, driving innovation, and facilitating partnerships has enriched the Indian economy and propelled businesses towards new horizons. This Fireside Chat series, today marking the second episode, gathers luminaries from Gujarat's business landscape, visionaries behind illustrious family enterprises. In candid conversations, participants will gain some profound insights into family businesses, innovations, and sustainable growth strategies. I cordially invite you to not just partake in these enlightening discussions, which will happen on the last Friday of every month for the foreseeable future, but also become a member of CII community. By joining CII, you access a world of knowledge, collaboration, and growth. Let's together progress. Your presence not only enriches these dialogues, but also contributes to our collective economic advancement. Join us in the fireside chats and ignite change with CII. And today's guest, I welcome you, Parag Bhai.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Parag Desai.
My pleasure.
It's super to have you, and I'm really grateful for you to accepting our invitation. Mr. Parag Desai is a visionary entrepreneur and dynamic leader who has achieved remarkable milestones in shaping the landscape of the Indian tea industry. With an academic foundation that includes a master's degree in business administration from Long Island University, Parag Bhai's journey has been defined by his unwavering commitment to excellence and innovation. As the executive director of Waghbakri Tea Group, Mr. Parag Desai has exemplified leadership by steering the company to the forefront of the packaged tea market in India. Under his astute guidance, Waghbakri Tea Group has not only expanded its reach across diverse markets and has also introduced pioneering products and brands, leaving an indelible mark on the industry. Parag Bhai's profound and understanding of tea, coupled with his adeptness in marketing and branding, has earned him numerous accolades and awards, solidifying his reputation as a trailblazer in his field. His exceptional abilities as a tea taster and his keen insights into the market trends have been pivotal in sustaining the group's position as a market leader. Beyond his professional achievements, Mr. Parag Desai's active involvement in industry associations such as CII, FICCI, and GCCI underscores his commitment to the industry's growth. A prolific speaker and influencer, he has been recognized by esteemed institutions for his exceptional contributions. Notable among these is the Marketing Man of the Year award by the Ahmedabad Management Association and the Family Business Legacy Award bestowed upon him by the President and Prime Minister of India. Parag Bhai's recognition during this year in month of March at Maha Samman by Z News Gujarati, an event graced by Chief Minister of Gujarat, Shri Bhupendra Patel, further reinforces his stature as a respected entrepreneur. Through his visionary leadership, he has not only propelled the Waghbakri Tea Group to unprecedented heights, but has also left an indelible imprint on the broader tea industry landscape in India. So, we've discussed about Parag Bhai. Now, I would just like to give a little background as to the Waghbakri Tea Group. The Waghbakri Tea Group is at the crossroads of tradition and innovation, stands the illustrious Waghbakri Tea Group. It's a revered name in the world of tea that has flourished under the visionary leadership of its executive director, Mr. Parag Desai. With roots tracing back to over a century, the company's journey is a testament to resilience, unwavering commitment, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Founded as a manifestation of a Gandhian dream by Shri Narandas Desai in 1892, the Waghbakri Tea Group began as a 500-acre tea estate in South Africa, which was news to me. I would never have imagined,
Yeah, very few people know that actually.
Yes. Shri Narandas Desai's passion for nurturing tea and his dedication to the intricacies of cultivation and production laid the foundation for a legacy that would span generations. Steeped in the ethos of quality, trust, and harmonious relations, the Waghbakri Tea Group emerged as a torchbearer in the tea industry. Shri Narandas Desai's sons, Shri Ramdas Desai, Shri Oshavlal Desai, and Shri Kantilal Desai carried forth his legacy, cementing the group's position as a prominent player in tea distribution, both wholesale and retail. The turning point arrived in 1980 with the launch of Gujarat Tea Processors and Packers Limited, marking the group's foray into packaged teas. Recognizing the need for innovation, the group's journey has been marked by the inauguration of its corporate office in 2006, blending founders' vision with futuristic outlooks. Under the steadfast leadership of Parag Bhai, the Waghbakri Tea Group has flourished into one of India's foremost packaged tea companies, reaching a turnover of over 2,000 crores and distributing more than 50 million kgs of tea. Parag Bhai's visionary acumen, combined with his expertise in marketing and branding, has elevated the group's position to new heights, expanding its footprints across India and international markets. The journey of legacy and innovation is celebrated through the Waghbakri Tea Group's presence in 24 states and its emergence as a truly global brand. Rooted in Gandhian values of equality and benevolence, symbolized by the tiger and the goat, which was one of my questions as to why the Waghbakri branding. Sharing a cup of tea, the group continues to bridge differences and foster relationships. As the company pioneers new formats like Waghbakri tea lounges and tea worlds, it stays true to its mission of adding sweetness to relationships by serving the finest quality of tea to every corner of the world. Through a harmonious blend of tradition and progress, Waghbakri Tea Group, under the visionary leadership of Parag Bhai, epitomizes the very essence of a global tea legacy. Just last week, the Waghbakri Tea Group was honored with the prestigious Jury Special Award for being the most enduring business at the Indian Family Business Awards 2022, presented by none other than the Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal. So, a very, as we can see, I think, first and foremost, I thank you for coming on this show, and I'm really honored and glad to have you with us. Given what I have just said about you and the company, I'm very sure that our, this entire 1 hour of conversation will definitely be a lot of value add to all the people who have joined us online. for all the Gujaratis who are on the, who have joined in, they would know that as a Gujarati, when we travel, we always have our theplas. But now, thanks to Parag Bhai, we also have these ready premixes of Waghbakri. You can have our masala chai anywhere in the globe that you go. So it's a standard thing that you pack along with the theplas now, thanks to Parag Bhai. So Parag Bhai, I think we can start. I would like to start with asking the very basic. Yours is a very multi-generational family business. I think you are third generation and you already have the fourth and the fifth, I think, already also there. So can you share some key milestone in the Waghbakri Tea Group's journey that have contributed to its impressive growth that we just talked about?
Yeah, Bhavik Bhai, thank you. I'm feeling very overwhelmed right now because you have done a detailed introduction about myself and the group. Yes, I am the fourth generation of the group. And like all Indian families, especially Gujarati families, we are always indebted to the earlier generation for passing on the legacy so that we can excel and do much better given different situations globally and in India. So before I answer your question, I would like to do a quick background on our group. Since you are not aware that we were from Africa, I would like to tell the story plus how the name Waghbakri was formed, because that's the question which I am always asked even today on any flight or any train that I take on.
Absolutely.
So Bhavik Bhai, my great grandfather was a successful tea planter in Durban, Africa. And in South Africa, those days, the British were ruling South Africa, the British were ruling India. And he sent his son, my grandfather, to a boarding school near Rajkot, where all the kings used to send their princesses in those days. So there he studied, he graduated, and he came back and joined his father's business, which was the tea estates. But he became a childhood friend of Mahatma Gandhi. So if all of us, we know that Gandhiji traveled to Africa after he became a barrister for further studies, and he was thrown off the train, and he then started the Quit India movement from over there. So during those days, he stayed with us because my grandfather was his childhood friend. And my grandmother and their elders were all into charity, and they used to give blankets to the black people in Africa. So Gandhiji was successful in influencing them that you have all the wealth in the world. Why don't you come with me for 10 years? I live in Sabarmati Ashram. Come and we will fight the British and make India independent. So one day, 27 people gave everything that they had in Africa to their, whoever they knew that, take good care, we are returning in 10 years, because in those days, there was no banking system or nothing like currency, etc. So everything was on trust. And 27 people sat on a ship, they sailed to Ahmedabad. They moved into, Sabarmati Ashram and surroundings, and they started the freedom struggle. As you know, freedom didn't come in 10 years. And my father was actually born in 1947. So during those initial years, my grandfather said that, okay, it's going to be a long battle, but we are very committed and we want to free India from the British. So we need to do something. So they said, let's start a small tea shop. So in Old Ahmedabad, they looked for a shop, they got a shop. And now what do we name the shop? So they wanted to give a name which denotes equality. But in those days, British had different roads and different rules for themselves, the rich people and the Indians over there. So they didn't find a name. So in the evening, it was very common in those days to do satsang with the saints. And in those days, saints were also quite approachable and quite genuine. You can imagine. So one day a saint asked my grandfather and his brothers that why you're looking so confused and so lost. They said, we have a shop, we have a business plan, but we can't find the name. So he took a charcoal and in one side he drew the strongest animal in the animal planet called the tiger. And the other side he drew a goat. And in between he put a cup of tea and both are sipping the tea. And behind them, just like you have a third umpire in cricket, he put a wrestler. in those days, the Russian circuses used to roam India a lot, and they were as popular as Bollywood is right now. And wrestling is a sport was as popular as cricket is right now. So that's how the philosophy of equality, Waghbakri Tea, was born. And the British never knew its meaning and the philosophy behind it. So one shop became 6 shops, 7 shops. My father was born in 1947. His elder 2 brothers were born before that. India became independent, and the family never thought of going back to Africa. Until date, we haven't gone back to Africa. So it's a very proud feeling of having been part of this freedom struggle, coming from a family which understands value and commitments given just on a intent to free India from the British. And ever since then, ever since I remember my elder uncle, I just lost him recently, that when the Indian tax rate was 65%, we have been paying taxes, and now it is 25%. So we have been awarded for our honesty towards the government. So look at the positive things that are happening in India. And Forbes recently did a cover story on my father because they were finding a global leader who was also born in 1947 and who was in one business. So our family happens to be only in the tea business. So they around 15th August, they did a cover story on how our business grew. My father, saw the development of the country and how he, through the changing lens of the external forces, helped his brothers grow the business. So very inspiring and very, very touching. Every day when we think of it, very few brands have these stories and very few families have the legacy that I have inherited. Absolutely. Now I come to your question on the key milestones. I believe our family always believed in superior quality of whatever we did. So we have never diluted the philosophy that whatever we give to our customers has to be a superior quality available at that price point. So today we are available in most states of India. We are available in most countries of the world, around 60 when I last counted. And everywhere we are known to be, superior quality. So that's something that is one of the principles that has led to our growth everywhere. Also in 1980, my father and his brothers, they decided that if we have to grow the business, their elder generations had passed away or they had become old and they had left it to them. That, okay, now we are free of the British, our mission is accomplished. Now you grow the business. So in 1980, we were one of the few first companies to enter into packaged tea. And our current company, Gujarati Processors and Packers, was formed. So the 3 brothers had big dreams and they wanted to use brands and distribution at a time when people knew only commodities. So when the company was formed in 1980, by 1985, most of the value of the company had eroded because people were not buying brands. It was very common that outside our 7 shops in Ahmedabad, people used to line up during the salary dates. When the mills, Ahmedabad was known as the Manchester of India. So when the mills gave their salaries, people actually used to take the salaries and line up outside our tea shops to buy tea. And that is how, we have grown up and we have seen all that happen. It still happens. But then my father and his brothers decided, let's look at sales, distribution, marketing, packaging. Now, there is a saying that fortune favors the brave and God is kind if you have the perseverance. So in 1985, when we had lost all the money that we had accumulated, suddenly there were riots in the country, and especially in our part of the world. And in those days, people discovered that the packaged tea available in the next door shop is as good as the tea that we get standing in queues. And in those days, curfew was like for 1 hour relaxation, 2 hour. So people were short of time. So from there, our packaged teas, and we were one of the first people to succeed into branded teas. So that is how we started. So we started with the toughest market, Gujarat. Gujarati customers have always been discerning about the quality of tea. In those days, we were just available in Ahmedabad. So slowly we went to North Gujarat, South Gujarat, Saurashtra. And then we entered into Rajasthan and MP. And in 1990, my father made a first trip to the US. 92, he took us to the US to see what the real developed world is. In those days, the difference in the US and India was more than 50 years, because we didn't even have color television at that time. And everything else, you need to book trunk calls if we had to speak with the auction centers in Calcutta. So we saw in 92 that here is a developed nation, and we decided that let's look at our exports. And the US had no clue about tea. So he sent me overseas to study, and parallelly he started our exports to the US. And I can proudly say that just before COVID, we celebrated our 25 years in North America. And today we are brand leaders from coast to coast. So it's been a long journey, and the journey is not. It has the milestones. It also has a lot of learnings, and if you can say failures, etc. But the commitment of the family towards quality and towards the passion for giving good teas to the customer always remains.
So that is my next question. When you say that when we're talking, you talked so much about the family, the legacy. You're a company which is steeped in legacy of a family business. So how has this influenced the company's values and strategies for growth?
Yeah, so like I said, we don't have a discussion on which quality to give. It's always superior quality at whatever brand or price point I operate. Then also we have a strange thing which my customers trust us for, that is that we have the right pricing. So in the journey since 1980 to now, whenever commodity prices have fallen, we were one of the first people to even reduce the prices. This ruffles a lot of feathers within the business community and our competitors, especially the multinationals, because they don't want to reduce the price of anything which is easily sold. But we are known as a fair price brands. So many years in the past, many years, we have even reduced our prices. Third thing is that even today, while we are now very professionally run and only family owned, the directors, whenever they are in office or they are in town, they themselves taste the earlier days blends that our factories make, and only after we approve it goes for packing. So there is a strong commitment that whatever I approve, and I approve of my customers, the first sip in the morning at 5:30 has to be the same, irrespective of the weather patterns or which quality of milk they use, water they use. So that is the assurance of quality from the family. And relationship building, Bhavik bhai, you would be surprised, most of our distributors are now in their third generation. This is unheard of in the FMCG world, at least, because you always get someone who is better than the earlier. So we have trained their next generation, grown with them, and they have also grown with us. So our relationship building with each of my 20,000 tea garden owners, to my distributors, to my vendors, to my consultants, at least 2 generations, if not 3 generations. And the last part is a strong financial discipline. So we don't take anything on credit, we don't give anything on credit. So any CFO that joins us, or any consultant that studies our books or anything, they are shocked that how you can have such a fiscal discipline, which is like to the point. But that's how our elders and our ancestors believe, that we don't believe in doing taking money from anywhere and then trying to repay the interest, etc. At the same time, because we don't buy anything on credit, we don't believe in giving any credit to anyone for anything. So the only thing that we give is quality. So these are the, I think, values and strategies which has led to our growth.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. I mean, I completely, I think, listening to you, I kind of correlate with what happens today, where, today people tend to, stop their relationships with suppliers, even for saving maybe 2%, 5% on cost. Which is, in your case, you have shown that it is your relationships go far beyond that, and so amazing to know that. So I'll also now let's now, coming from legacy, let's come to the current state when we are talking about. So you have diversified into lounges and ready to drink mixes, where you have these teas and you have iced teas and things like that. How do these ventures align with the company's overall growth strategy? Because up till now, you've basically been producing, or you've been growing the tea and marketing and packaging and marketing the tea. Now you've gone one step beyond. So how does that align with your company's future growth strategy?
Yeah, so good question. And the launches is something which I am particularly very proud of. So I went to the States and I came back after doing my MBA. And one of the things I was as a kid always turned off, that all the tea shops, most of them is most of them have been using our brands. They have been telling us what consumer choices, changes, etc. But visually, it was not a good thing versus all the coffee cafes which were coming up in India. So we were always, the tea industry always had a tea board. So we always went to the tea board and said, do something. And they would say, yes, we should do something. But being a government board, there was hardly anything that they did. So one day the family decided that let us improve the imagery of tea. And at the same time, we are expanding. So let us show the world how the British invented tea, how it should be made, how it should be served. So the first tea launch, actually, Bhavik Bhai opened in Jaipur, in Rajasthan, because we had just entered Jaipur, and you won't believe people were not accepting our brand because they were thinking it's expensive. So to showcase the legacy and the right quality, etc., opposite Polo Victory Road, I opened the first outlet.
Okay.
In that outlet, I learned everything, of what not to do. So I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know anything about QSR business. So in 3 years' time, I learned everything. And then I opened one more outlet. I had to shut down that outlet because that outlet was also something which was, in Rajasthan, they have the line dori or the red tape thing, wherein if an outlet comes in the center of the road, the government could remove it any day. So then we went to Mumbai, and the first outlet in Mumbai we opened in Vileparle. It was a big hit, and ever since then we have not looked back. Today we run around 100 large and small format tea lounges. We are one of the first people to actually open tea lounges in malls like DLF, at the highways. We just opened one on the Delhi Meerut Expressway. We have lounges on the Delhi Pune Expressway. We also have smaller formats at the airports, at universities, etc. And it's a fascinating experience when customers directly interact. And people are spoiled for choices. So whenever I go to any airport in our lounges, people are always fighting that I will need elaichi in my tea or ginger in my tea. Someone will say, I want only black tea. I want your lemon tea. Someone will say, I like your instant tea, but with less sugar. So visually, when people are given a choice, they would like to exercise that choice. So our tea launches are going to expand. We are just targeting 300 more in the next 3 years. Post-COVID, it has been a big blessing. People are back eating outside. And especially in North India, it's a big market for us. So places like Gurugram, Noida, Greater Noida, even Pune, Mumbai, Chandigarh, Ahmedabad, we have now 4. So right outside the new Atal Bridge, we have a lounge, and right in the new Palladium Mall, we have the lounge. In Baroda, we have the lounge at the In-Orbit Mall. So doing very well. On the other things, on the ready to drink, etc., we do a lot of customer research. So every year we do one deep dive research across the length and breadth of our customers, and they give us feedback. It's a very detailed research which takes at least 3 months to complete. And in every research, it used to come out that, whenever we travel outside India, we are not liking the tea. Or whenever we are on the move, we are not liking the hygiene of the tea. So we put together a lab. We are one of the first people to set up a government-approved NABL lab. We put together some scientists, and we recruited some chemists. This was way different than what we were doing till now. And they developed a formula of a 3-in-1 instant tea, which after 4 years of research and development, we actually launched. And then, like everything, people started saying that every third person is diabetic in India. So why don't you have a low sugar or no sugar variant? So now it's gone into different variants. We also have a saffron mist. Then came COVID. During COVID, our customers demanded that you should have something with haldi doodh, because that was what people were taking. So we now have a tea with haldi doodh, etc., instant tea. Then suddenly everyone started saying that why don't you have coffee? So then we decided that it's high time we enter into coffee. So we have one of the best cappuccinos and coffee available in the instant formats. And in our tea launches also, we have just launched 6 months back coffee. So every new thing that we do actually comes out, Bhavik bhai, from customer insights and formal research.
Amazing. And incidentally, the no added sugar variant is my favorite. So I think I already mentioned, yeah, it's absolutely. I think it's amazing in that sense. When I first had it, it was so close to the real thing. It never felt that it was a premix.
Yeah. So lot of research. Like I
said,
said, 4 years is a long time. I know now more about milk powder, more about sugar than most other people, because we have done it, and we have a very professional team which used to guide us.
Right. Great. So, that since you're mentioning that, it also comes to mind that I mean, in India we are I think probably the largest tea consuming country. We have so much of tea, and but the tea that we consume most prominently is what is there on the streets. Which you mentioned that a lot of customers say that it's not hygienic or whatever, but it is a large segment. So how do you tackle that, and how do you draw your customers away from, or how do you kind of divert people from drinking tea on these tapris to coming to a Waghbakri tea lounge?
So we work on a 360-degree project. So we tie up with most of the tapris and we educate them on the importance of hygiene. Government, thankfully, in the last 5 years have made a lot of rules in which beyond a certain point of hygiene, you can't operate. So things like, you must have read controversies on plastic cups, paper cups, glass cups. So these are all initiatives by the government, and we engage with these tea people that you can charge. The problem with these poor tea tapri people is they always think we can't charge beyond 5 rupees for a cup of tea, and we tell them that you please try and charge 20 rupees, and we are sure if your tea is good, people will come. Today's day and age has changed, and thankfully our efforts in this direction are bearing fruit. Now, if you see most of the tea tapris, they have all improved from their sitting, branding to their hygiene, etc. So launches is a different story. Like if you are in a mall, in a Palladium Mall in Ahmedabad or DLF malls in North India, and you want to have tea, so that's where my lounges work, and it's quite different and quite interesting, both these models.
Okay, great. So moving on, I would probably move on a little to the fact that your company is, like I had mentioned earlier, steeped in as a family business. So a little bit on succession planning and family dynamics, I would like to touch upon. You as in Waghbakri has managed very smooth leadership transitions. So could you share some key principles that underpin successful succession planning in a family business? I mean, this would probably be a great use for other.
I would answer this little broadly. See, we believe in the Japanese style of management. Various countries have various styles of management. The Japanese style is very simple. It's a consensus-led management. So anywhere there is a disagreement, we agree to disagree, and then we meet again. Maybe after a couple of days. And very formal meetings are required. We have a strong system of monthly meetings. Plus, the family is more or less, is just in the ownership now. Most of the professionals, since I came back from the US, we have been hiring very good professionals. We have been giving them very comfort, quality of life, especially in Ahmedabad, because most of the people, they join us from Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta. And, Ahmedabad used to be having a lot of negatives, But in the last 10 years, Ahmedabad has become a big positive from a quality of life point of view. And we hardly interfere in the day-to-day running of our business when the professionals are taking. It is only when we are talking about governance, when we are talking about CSR, charity, strategic issues, it's when the family comes together and has a discussion. And it's a very clear-cut thing that either you convince me or I convince them. And this has helped us in the past and it is still helping us. Also, we give a lot of importance to elders. So we always seek the elders' blessing before doing anything. Like important projects which require investments of 100 crores plus, we want the elders to come, even though they are not attending everyday office. We would invite them, we would show them, and we would seek their blessings before we move ahead. So that is also, we believe in the theory of the Almighty and how everything that goes around comes around. And we believe that having been state so successful, the elders have had a massive role, and wherever experience counts, they have really helped us. So many times we have had challenges from all across, and it is because of this practice that we have been successful. So right now the family is just at a director level, board level, and most of the professionals are doing a better job and a wonderful job than most of my competition. So there is no question of any day-to-day interaction issues or any succession planning or etc. We are right now, I must have had 30 years in the company. My brother must have had 30 years or maybe 35 years, lose count. But we are still young and we still want to grow faster than competition. And India is giving us this opportunity. Bhavik, there was a time I used to go overseas and I used to say I come from India, and people say, where is India on the map? People don't know. And then I used to go to many countries and say I come from Gujarat. They say we only know Mumbai, Delhi or Jaipur. Where is Gujarat? God knows. Now if I go and if people say, oh, your company's name is Gujarati, oh, welcome, you come from Gujarat. Wonderful. So many multinationals are there. So many positive stories have emerged out of Gujarat. So it's a very proud feeling.
That's the one of the reasons why I started this series. It's all about Gujarati family businesses.
Yes, yes, yes.
So actually, my next question was a little, but I think you've already kind of responded to that. But it was basically to ask you that who and how does the family decide on the roles and responsibilities in the family? Like even at the directorial level, like you said that you're now mostly at the board level. So even within that, are there any decisions on responsibilities and roles, and how do you decide amongst? Because you're a lot of generations together, and obviously a lot of siblings together too. So
no, a lot of people have a lot of siblings together, and I envy them because we are quite few siblings. So
okay.
I always tell my uncle and my father that I wish we had 5-6 more brothers and sisters, who would have been in the business, because we face a different challenge. We are very few, and the business is growing very well, all rounded, and still I believe any differences are going to happen. There is no denying the fact, but it's a consensus system. So and it's a very good time tested one. At the same time, I would like to share another secret. We also engage a lot with global consultants. So we invite them, they study us, they they tell us how the outside world is, how we should change our working style, our organogram, our business model, everything. So very recently we engaged with ENY, who helped us do right now there's a lot of issues on security, data security, etc. So they showed us how the best in the world are doing it, and we actually implemented it in record time. At the same time, another consultant, Accenture, I can name them, they are helping us making a proper digital backbone of the entire company to make us ready for the next 10 years. Such consultants, we have consultants in HR, consultants in taxation, etc., who come and who give us what is the best practices of the world, and that's how then we discuss and we follow that.
Okay. Great. I think that was great to understand and to kind of So actually that kind of goes to my, so if given all that you have talked about right now about the family and how you've managed, if there are a lot of people who are from family businesses, so if you were to give some very pointed points or pointed advice to these other family businesses, uh, in reference to how to ensure a seamless transition to the next generation, what would you say? Like you said, you have gone professional, but what would you, based on your kind of understanding and your experience, tell others who are still in that family business mode, uh, and have not yet professionalized the, I mean, the ownership and the management is still under the family. How would you advise them to, have a seamless transition to the next generation?
So I meet a lot of such families, and I sit on a lot of startup meetings also, both sides of the table. And my only advice is that you have to trust people and invest in human capital. So I believe what today's India's professionals can get you nowhere else. You have to recruit people who are even better than you
Right.
in their job area. And I believe this is something which a lot of people know it should be done, but for just strange reasons, like how can we give such a high salary to an individual who is not a family member? So that's where they just pull back. But I think this is one of the biggest mistakes. And then you have to give them a good work environment. You have to trust them, and you have to also develop a habit of listening to know from them. They all cannot be yes men. So I think my lesson number one to all these people is that please professionalize and please invest in human capital. And there is nothing in the world which we are not Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva, where we can do so many things in one time. Everyone is aging, everyone has different interests, everyone wants to pursue so many goals. So if you are focused on your business and if you are loyal to your business, you better have the right people in running the business at senior levels.
Thank you. I think that will go a long way in adding value for our members who are online currently. So so you mentioned Accenture is helping you create a readiness for the next 10 years in terms of your digital. So what is it? What is your vision for the next decade, and how do you plan to get it and get there?
So, our vision is very simple that, we have to be the best in class and we have to continue to be the best. So, even if it comes to IT, we have to work with only the best, and we have to have the best systems to help us process as quickly as possible with minimum paperwork. So, one of the transitions that we took is we have come out post COVID. I think I can proudly say that we are coming out of most of the paperwork and everything is happening digitally. There was a time wherein people globally on the streets, our employees, etc., they used to have a attendance punching, etc. Now everything is on the mobile face recognition. All means, so the next generation which is coming up into the professional world, they are far more digitized and they have far less time to spend on such things. So we have to be also the employer of choice. The level of skills of the next generation is so high that I believe in 5 years' time, they will pick and choose which companies they want to work with. And geographical boundaries are not going to remain. So today, earlier people were not ready to work out of Calcutta and come to Ahmedabad because they don't know what the culture is, etc. Today we have 2 flights to Calcutta, 5 flights to Dubai, 2 flights to Bangalore, 3 flights to Chennai, and people have their laptops or their phones through which they work, and most of the business is happening online. So much more adaptable. So we have to, in the next 5 years, continue to become more and more modern, relevant. And the way India is, spending on infrastructure, the way the government is taking out on bullet trains, etc. I think we have to stay more and more relevant. One of the key parts of our entire jigsaw is our marketing mix. Okay, every time we communicate to our customers, it should be in their media, in their time frame, in their zone, and they should feel that the brand is relevant and saying something which they can emotionally attach themselves to. So most of our campaigns win awards, most of our posts get a lot of likes, because we constantly study the environment and we constantly try to be 2 steps ahead.
Okay. No, perfect. So, just to kind of continue on these. So when we are talking about, you know, you are into very diverse markets, right? I mean, across geography.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to build and sustain brand loyalty among consumers?
Yeah, so I said that we do a lot of research. So when I was doing research 10 years back, in the consumer's kitchen, there used to be a cupboard, and in the cupboard there used to be one steel ka burni where they used to put tea. Now time has changed. The kitchen is still there, the cupboard is there, the burni is also there. But now you have 10 different types of teas, sometimes 12 different types of teas, wherein people want to at a different time have green tea, gourmet teas, which are our specialty teas. We get consumers who says, I want to buy that tea which is plucked only on full moon night. So customers today, thanks to the explosion of media and their own study of various categories, they are spoiled for choice. And we have to, be present at a time where they require us. So even most of the people today, the Indian Railways has done a massively good job in the super fast trains, etc. I get 10 pictures every day on my mobile saying I was traveling from this place in the country to this and I was tired and suddenly I saw your instant tea and I really loved it. Someone travels on Akasa Airlines and they said, oh, wonderful. Someone travels on Vistara, which actually is a Tata airline, but they use only our tea bags. And another airline, Singapore Airlines, they use only our masala tea. So I am, we have to be where people want us to be. And if you are a good product and if you are true to yourself, you're passionate, eventually people will find you. Like you mentioned in my introduction about the award we got last Saturday.
Yes.
We did not apply for this award. There was a proper study done and we were given the jury's award for the most enduring business. So this means a lot to us, such accolades, they keep us motivated.
Absolutely, sir. I think I have become a fan of Waghbakri tea. So I think one addition to your long list of admirers.
Thank
I
you.
will so just extending again what we just talked about, maintaining brand loyalty. You're also, like I said, you're also producing across geographies, right? So how challenging it is to kind of produce that quality which you are known for across these diverse locations?
Okay, so we are one of the few manufacturers who want all our factories in our control. So we don't have a third party model versus others who always have a third party model.
Right.
So we buy the tea from Eastern India. I'm just giving you an example. We bring it all to Gujarat. We have 4 manufacturing facilities in Gujarat. We blend and pack over there and send it across India again. Now, in every state, you have different nuances. The quality of milk is different. The quality of water is very different. You go to Mumbai, they have hard water. Most of them actually drink adulterated milk or milk powder. Whereas you come a little up, you go to Valsad, Vapi, Surat. They drink a thick fat milk. It's called the orchid region of India. And you go to UP, again a different, they use fresh milk in their teas. So our blends have to perform given these parameters, because anyone who takes the first sip, the first thing is either going to like the tea or he's not going to like the tea. So out of research, what comes is that the 530 cup of tea, you would be surprised to know most of the adults and the males, they prefer to make it themselves. So in India, 530 tea is by themselves, for themselves. The 7 o'clock tea is with the wife. She makes it and it's more elaborate. But the 530 tea is supposed to wake you up, even sometimes solve problems that you didn't find a solution the earlier day. So tea has a large role to play in people's expectations. And that's where our tea has to deliver irrespective of the external forces, how they make the tea. every 250 kilometers, people have a different way of making tea. So there also we study, we have a team which studies all these nuances, and then we make the final blend.
Okay. Great. So, another thing which I think you have constantly talked about since we started this discussion was how much your value system of the company, it comes from honoring tradition, very typical tradition, Indian tradition. Also there is so how is it that you manage to strike a balance between your in between honoring tradition and embracing modern business practices? Because the current business practices need not necessarily be based on tradition. So how is it that Waghbakri manages to strike that perfect balance there?
Yeah, so I can again give you two examples. Like if you put it under tradition or not, I don't know. But we don't use first names in office or outside anywhere. So we treat every employee, irrespective of his grade, with respect. We call him as if we are calling a family member. Number two, we don't employ anyone who has changed jobs very frequently. Number three, we don't believe that we should be serving non-veg food in our tea lounge outlets. So a lot of time the outlets don't make money, but we still don't serve non-veg food or liquor by that mind.
Okay.
Fourth, we have very strong cultural rules. So irrespective of however good you are professionally, if you are a chain smoker or if you are a drinker, I will not be able to recruit you. Or if you are chewing tobacco, etc. So this is how we guard our culture and the way we work. And in case someone is sick or something, then the family itself takes personal attention in reaching out to the right doctor, making sure they get the right treatment. So we have a very strong value wing within the giving back to society, quote unquote. And we do a lot of work which is under the radar of either the media, or we make a lot of noise about it. So that's called how we guard our tradition and how we guard our culture. In the modern way, like we invest in technology faster than people believe. We use a lot of new age things. We were the first to have bytea.com is our B2C website, which I started in 1999 when no one even knew what B2C is. Today we are one of the biggest. We are the most visible brand on e-commerce platforms, on modern format stores, everything. So anything new that happens, we want to creepily latch on it. And that is where our business partners and our customers value us a lot.
So I'll come to my last few questions. So I would urge all the so incidentally we've been polling in between. So the current poll,
wonderful.
We asked everyone how many had been to a Waghbakri Tea Lounge, and I think it's quite a great result. 64% have visited a Waghbakri Tea Lounge. So we've been kind of, thank you for your responses, everyone. And coming, and please do ask if you have any questions. Please do put them in the chat box so that we can take it up with Parag Bhai at the end of my chat. So coming to my last few questions, Parag Bhai, the one which I would like to ask is, what advice would you give to budding entrepreneurs looking to build and scale their businesses? This could be family businesses or it could be startups. You could take them together or you could take them individually, however.
Yeah, so I actually mentor a lot of people. I meet a lot of people. I go to CIE very often. I engage on a lot of discussions on existing businesses, new businesses. I think what is missing, I can tell you, versus what I would want it not to miss, is passion. I think people want to do too many things within too short a time. So if you have passion and if you give time, then only you will have a fair chance of success. Today, even if you read the pink papers or you read various business sites, it's like about, building a company and then selling it off even before it has started making profits, or doing an IPO, etc.
Right.
So I believe budding entrepreneurs should look at long term. And once you have decided what you want to do, my advice is that don't look at other things, because a lot of people, they spend 2-3 years in doing in learning and investing in doing something that they believe in, and then someone tells something and they say, oh, I think I should change my career, etc. And that's what sets them apart from the other people who have been pursuing that dream. So to fructify a dream is like a test match. I think you have to give it time. It's like tennis. You'll have to wait for the other person to make some mistake, hit some balls in the net, and you also have to sustain. So it's very important for people and budding people to especially think long term and do whatever they do. Even I meet students, I tell them, if you are a student and if you want to do this, that, first you need to study passionately. Doing too many things but not studying passionately is going to upset you and your environment and your future. So if you have a dream and you want to pursue your dream, please study the right way, be ethical, moral, learn from the best. Today, we are blessed that, on YouTube, we have the best of the best that is on offer. And we should invest time, in reading books, in looking at videos. Even on Netflix, you have wonderful collection. So the best way to succeed is learning from others. That's what I believe.
Great. Thank you so much. I'll ask now the final, so I think, start taking questions from the audience. We have a few. There is one from Mr. Subodh Paul. What are the challenges you are facing in different areas from Assam and West Bengal in the last 30 years?
Yeah, so challenges are what we are facing across the world is global warming and the change in our weather patterns. So the tea is nothing but Camellia sinensis tree, and the quality of the tea depends on what we call as photosynthesis, on the right amount of sunlight and the right amount of rainfall at the right time of the year. Now, all these weather patterns are disrupting, and we are finding it more and more difficult to grow good quality teas. And it's becoming, like for a good 100 years, things did not change. And in the last 10 years, I think last 5 years, suddenly there are so many changes, unseasonal rains, floods. Also, one more thing, today, that region is also developing, thankfully so. And there was a time wherein the youth over there did not have anything but, look at tea or timber. Today, they also have choices. So that is also another good thing that we are seeing in the tea growing regions.
Correct. Great. Another question is from Vishal Patel. How can I effectively manage family and home related complications within the business? As an elder, what steps should I take to ensure the smooth operation of the business? It's
a complicated question.
Yes.
But I have another saying for that. A family that eats together, prays together, always stays together. So instead of differentiating family, business, etc., if you stay together, discuss things together, have your lunch or dinner together, and definitely pray together, then definitely there will be some solution. Even if there is no solution, the Almighty will show a half a solution or something like that.
Correct. No, I agree. I think, obviously, this is, I think you probably need some more details, to be able to answer that more effectively. The question from Mr. Vishal Patel. So there is another question which is saying that what is your next growth plan? This is from Mr. Jagdish Shukla. What is your next growth plan? And do you plan to enter any diversified product range or plan to expand in the synergistic businesses?
Yeah, so it's a very relevant and a question that we also have been asking ourselves, and definitely we will diversify. Tea launches was more synergetic, it's not diversification. Our foray into coffee was more strategic than anything else. But yeah, the time has come that we will look at diversification and we will look at a large diversification, sometime soon. But today, the way opportunities are, I think diversifications also, there are so many opportunities, especially in India. I was speaking with a group of youngsters recently who are in college and who are going to a post graduation. And I told all of them that, someone was telling, I want to go to UK. Someone was saying, I want to go to Netherlands. I said, look, if you ask me frankly, you should go to India. The country that we are sitting in, we export to more than 60 countries. I just came back from the UK. It's not a pleasant sight. People are becoming homeless faster than ever before. You can see people visually sleeping on the roads. In other countries also, Europe is a very bad situation. So India is where I believe the future is, and anyone who will invest in India in terms of their time for learning will have a faster chance of success.
There are some more interesting questions. So there is one from Mr. Yogesh Velani, who's asking, have you competition from coffee as a product? Is that the reason why this I'm adding that, is that the reason why you introduced coffee where your forte has always been tea? I mean, we
No,
have
I'll just give you a perspective. Coffee is one of the highest priced beverage in the world. Tea is the cheapest and the healthiest beverage in the world. So in fact, tea is giving coffee competition. Coffee consumption even in the southern states is replaced by tea. But the reason we introduced coffee was simple. We have a very successful tea vending machine business, wherein we put our tea vending machine and we give a 360-degree solution to the large offices, etc. We also have a very successful tea lounge business. Now, everywhere we get people who don't drink tea but want good coffee. So that's how coffee started. Okay, so coffee is, we are very passionate and it will continue to grow. We are now looking at various variants. After coffee, we launched cafe latte. Now, shortly, in the pipeline is something like a vanilla coffee or something like that. But hazelnut coffee, it's all under trials. But we are very serious about coffee. But in fact, globally, coffee is becoming so expensive that people are looking at other beverages, and tea becomes a beverage of choice.
Just on a lighter note, today morning I read, I think one Goa minister has complained about the price of tea that was served. I think it was some 264. I think he's put it on X that with the bill, it was a very expensive cup of tea that he was served. He's complained to the civil aviation minister. So coming to our next question, this is to say that a cup of tea have been synonymous to ease of life, but also to inflation for a household. Has the price point changed in favor of business or the consumer? And are disruptors challenging incumbents? And what is the family's view and role to deliver excellence at a certain price? This is from Mr. Jay Shah. A lot of questions, so maybe if you want, I can repeat it.
Yeah, I think the first part, I think your voice broke.
Okay, so what he has said is, has the price point changed in favor of business or the consumer?
Okay, the answer is it has changed in favor of the consumer, because if you look at the price of teas spread over the last 20 years, it has risen lower than the cost of inflation. So the production of Indian tea has gone up, and that is one of the reasons that the price has not gone up. So definitely in favor of consumers.
The other part of the question says, what is the family's view and role to deliver excellence at a certain price?
Family's view, family's view, I'll give you an example of what my grandfather and his brothers used to do, and it will give a good indicator of what our family thinks like. every year in the beginning, they would see that how much money we require to make. So my grandfather and his brothers would sit and they would fix an amount. And then toward the end of the year, they would say that have we made it or not? If they have made the money, they would, stop everything, reduce the price of tea in the shops and go and rent a bungalow in Mahabaleshwar and stay there for a month and a half. So they say that, we have made enough money. Now let customers enjoy and let us enjoy. So that's the family philosophy. We are never in it for the money. So always it comes as customer first.
I think I can completely align with what you're saying in terms of having heard you for the last hour or so. There is another one from Mr. Uttam Bhattacharya, which says, okay, this is just a comment. It's not a question. Sorry, just give me a minute. There's one from Ishan. What do you feel is the right time of diversification in a continuous business? So, I mean, just to rephrase it, what is the time that you should decide that you need diversification in a business?
See, I have a strong view on that. Even in the earlier question, you talked about disruption. So there is no right time for disruption or diversification. Did we know that, the entire photography industry would be over and people now don't remember Kodak at all? At a time we used to run for reels, etc. So that's disruption for you. Or Uber, Ola, what has happened across the world. Diversification is similar. Today, when the opportunity comes, I believe you should diversify. There is nothing like timing. And the opportunity has to come in two ways. Number one is the business opportunity. And second is how the existing business is going to be handled when, you're going to look at diversification or whatever. So everything is a matter of timing. There is no right time or the right product or anything.
Great. So I think I'll probably, unless there are, so I think I'll take my last the question, which is to say that, you must be sourcing, where do you source the tea from? I mean, this is not a question, I'm just asking in terms of.
Yeah, so we source from so we source from around 14,000 tea gardens in India, around 5,000 in Africa, and around 7,000 in Sri Lanka.
Okay, so now the question is, how much climate change has affected the tea quality in India versus all these other countries? You were mentioning earlier.
So climate change has affected all crops across the world, and definitely tea in all the three countries. Only thing is that the climate change has not impacted much in Africa, because Africa does not have the sultry climate that India and Sri Lanka has. So India, Sri Lanka has a different set of problems because of its how near it is to, how near the gardens are to the equator, and how challenges in terms of cold weather also that happens in India. In Africa, that's not a thing, but definitely the global weather patterns have changed, and because of that, all crops have changed. So there is now a new science wherein you look at a new growing and manufacturing process basis what the climate has impacted that particular crop.
Okay. So I think that about wraps it up for all of us. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. Thank you for all your questions. I mean, since we are almost close, we've gone a bit past our time. Thank you so much, Parag Bhai. I think it was immense to have you here on this show, and your inputs and your words of advice, I think, will go a long way in helping future generations, all who have listened in on today's talk. Thank you so much.
Bhavik Bhai, I must thank you for doing this, and I think you have taken a great initiative of this 1 hour. I didn't know when last I spoke on so many subjects regarding my own business and my own family in such a focused way. I'm really thankful to you and the CIIT. Keep it up, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you for being with us. Thank you for sparing your time. I completely appreciate that, because I know how busy you would otherwise be So thank you for sparing our time for our members and the others who have listened in.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
बंद कर दो।